Good afternoon. I'm Denise Rollard Barnes, and we're here with another edition of WIN TV. I want to thank you all for tuning in again today. You know, it's Good Friday, and some of you all, gosh, I don't know, Chevy, are the churches are closed. I don't know if they're still making those fried fish meals. We missed those on Good Friday, but at any rate, you know, it is Good Friday, and Easter is right around the corner. So we look forward to all that will be happening. I understand a lot of churches are going to have in-person services with a limited number of parishioners there. So if you are a member of a congregation, you might want to check it out and see if your church will be open this weekend, and you can get in and have a great Sunday worship, Easter Sunday worship service. There'll be plenty online, though, so we can all enjoy that celebration for all of you Christians out there. Excuse me. We have a great show today. Our guests include Cynthia Jackson, the owner of Tiny Tots and Tikes. Looking forward to hearing what this small business owner has for our children in the community. We'll also welcome Ray Savoy and Edward Justice, who are the dynamic duo that run the Langston Golf Program over at Langston Golf Course, Langston Youth Golf Program at Langston Golf Course here in Washington, D.C. and Northeast. And then Trey Sherrard of the Anacostia Riverkeepers will kick off our month-long environmental series. We're using or borrowing the theme from Earth Day, Restoring the Earth. And so they're going to be here with us to kick off Earth Day. And of course, we're going to have our very own resident physician, Dr. Valda Crowder, who we lovingly call Dr. V, who's here to answer all of your health questions, but specifically as it relates to COVID-19, which is still very much upon us. And we hope that if you have read science, you feel comfortable that you're out getting your vaccine. New research is coming out every day and showing that those who have been vaccinated are safe, but we'll see. However, I'm one of those that will see because I have had my vaccine. And so, you know, I'm still masking up and doing all the other things that are important, but we will talk to Dr. V about that as well. Also, I hope you've had a chance to pick up this week's issue of the Washington Informer. Browsed it on our digital edition at www.washingtoninformer.com. We're so excited to have celebrated the 101st birthday of one of our oldest residents here in the District of Columbia, Virginia H. Keene. She turned 101. Her family wanted to do a celebration for her last March, but was unable to because of COVID. So the community came out, and we were there as well to cover her birthday celebration. And there's so many other stories in this edition that you don't want to miss out on. So if you aren't able to pick up a copy of the paper, please go to www.washingtoninformer.com. And while you're there, we'd ask you to sign up to be a part of our e-newsletter family, to receive email notifications, which are only available for our subscribers. So please go there and sign up and become a part of the family. And we'd also like you to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of those make a difference to our bottom line, and it's our way of making sure that we can serve you the news that you can use. And also to hear from you. We certainly do want to hear from you and hope that you will respond to us on all of those platforms, and we will definitely get back to you because we want to know what's important to you in your community. How can we be more informative and you know, make sure that you're getting information that helps you in your day-to-day lives. You know, the District of Columbia has a new permanent police chief, almost. When the DC Council confirms Actor Chief Robert Contee III, the committee, the Judiciary Committee, I think it was, did confirm him on Wednesday. And so now we're waiting to see if the council, when the council will have its vote. And from what I hear, Acting Chief Contee will be a great choice for the District of Columbia, but we will see. President Biden has introduced a $2 trillion infrastructure plan. He is hoping to fund with an increase in corporate taxes, that is already meeting increasing opposition. So we need to follow that, because the infrastructure plan has been one that was talked about during the Obama administration, the Trump administration, and now President Biden has said he's going to make this thing happen. The Republicans support the idea of an infrastructure plan. The question is, how will it be paid for? So that's something we need to take a look at. And as we speak, the police officer charged with the killing of George Floyd is on trial in Minneapolis. It's been a heart-wrenching trial, lots of tears, lots of pain, and rightfully so, because to see this traumatic incident replay itself over and over and over again on television has been quite an awful mental, the impact on our mental health has been significant. And the Washington Informer has decided that it's going to look at how this is impacting our community, not only in Minneapolis, but all across the country, but particularly right here in Washington, D.C. One of our editors said, "How do I explain this when my 9-year-old grandson watches television and sees a man die on television under the knee of a police officer?" What are the conversations, and how do we have those conversations? And with so many lives lost in the District of Columbia and continuing to be lost as we continue to have this spike in gun-related violence and murders in the city, it makes it really tough. I can't find the words really to express what I think so many are going through, but we want to find the words to express how to help people go through it, and to make sure that their mental health is in good shape. So right now, we're going to go to reporter Curtis Knowles, who will bring us up on this week's top stories, and I'll be right back.
This is Curtis Knowles with WIN TV News. Prominent DMV location Temple Hill Skate Palace is facing possible closure. The venue will close its doors on April 5th as negotiations with the new venue owner is underway. The rink was known as Crystal Skate before its name changed in 2007. Residents of the area have expressed their grief through social media over the closure of a beloved venue. The state of Maryland moved into Phase 2B of its vaccination plan on Tuesday. The phase entails that with residents 16 and older with disabilities and medical conditions that increase the risk of getting the virus are now eligible for vaccination. Maryland officials plan to move into Phase 2C on April 13th. Pharmaceutical corporation Pfizer announced Wednesday that its coronavirus vaccine has shown 100% efficacy in youth groups 12 to 15 during clinical trials. The vaccine, developed along with BioNTech, is currently authorized in the U.S. for emergency use for people ages 16 and older. Both Pfizer and BioNTech plan to submit data, which has not been peer-reviewed, to the Food and Drug Administration for expanded emergency use authorization of the 2-dose vaccine. Malik Aziz has been chosen as Prince George's County's new police chief. Aziz was the former deputy chief of the Dallas Police Department, for which he served 30 years in the organization. Aziz was chosen by County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, with his official confirmation by the County Council forthcoming. One of Aziz's first major challenges will be the issue of police reform. This is Curtis Knowles with WIN TV News.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you so very much. And yes, we're always glad to hear you catch us up on the news of the week. We're going to be joined now by Cynthia Jackson. Cynthia.
Hi.
Here. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Cynthia's a pastor. You're a pastor, a mom, a founder of Tiny Tots, a small business designed to produce products that will reflect positive and creative images to inspire and make Black children proud of the way they look. Wow, Cynthia, where did you get this idea from? Well, I get it because you're a mom, but we have these ideas, and then we sort of move on it. We want to show a video. I think I missed that. So Sherry says, let's show the video. Well, I'm glad we got a chance to see that
Yes.
because it definitely reinforces what's going on behind you too on that screen with all those wonderful images on the wall. Tell me about Tiny Tots and Tikes.
Yes, so we started our business about 5 years ago, and we originally just published books, children's books, and inspirational T-shirts. But last year we launched our line of wall decals that you see behind me, and that was inspired by a story, an experience that my daughter had at 3 years old. At that young of an age, she really started to question her skin tone, her hair texture, and really just had issues with her self-image. And I was completely taken aback by this moment. First of all, was only 3 years old. So I was like, how is a child this young able to just internalize all of this and really experience challenges with this? But after thinking about it, I realized that her surrounding played a major part in how she saw herself. She was attending a predominantly white school. At the time, I was serving at a predominantly white church, and media did not help. Every time she turned on the TV, she pretty much saw nothing but white images. And so she was surrounded by whiteness. So really, my husband and I just took a long time affirming her, her beauty, her skin tone, her hair texture. And now she is so in love with just how she looks, her skin, her hair. She loves everything about herself. But we did not want this experience to just go, to just be so negative. So we thought, how can we turn this into something positive in a way that helps other parents and also children? And so we launched wall decals.
I think it's extremely important. I think we don't really hear so much about our boys, and what they go through. But we know that girls, because we tend to be so image oriented early in life, and we look for a reflection of ourselves and other things. And so, I remember as a kid, starting with dolls, and people used to talk about, there were no dolls at the time. And so I think you stepped into a space that really, how does your daughter respond to what you all have created?
Oh, so I think I work for her. She she loves it. Everything that you see on the wall and more she has in her room. So her all of her walls are completely full of decals, and so she helps in the creative process. She tells me, "Mommy, I think you should do this decal. I think you should make a fairy. I think you should make a princess." And so I make it, and she checks it off. She approves.
Did you ever try to find similar images before you created them? Did you feel as though there was not enough out there for you to create what your daughter needed? So you did it yourself?
Yes, I did a lot of research, and to my surprise, I was trying to purchase through another company just wall decals. I was like, this will be nice and pretty to put up in her room, and it will reflect um, positive Black images, but I couldn't find any. And I was like, well, this is a cute idea. One that you can put up. They're easy to install. All you have to do is peel and stick. But also, while they're in the playroom or the bedroom, and even schools have purchased them, kids can be affirmed by what they see, while also looking at something that's creative and beautiful.
I think that's fantastic. Now, I understand there's something you call a subscription box. What's that?
Yes. So when COVID hit, my husband and I really talked about how we can play our part and inspire others. And so he used to play Division I football, and we are a football family. And so we thought, what's a fun way to inspire others? And so we combined both of the worlds that we love, our faith and football. And so we have our Touchdown Through Faith subscription box for adults. And so each month you will receive the box. You will pay $35, but the box is valued at over $80. And so you will receive an inspirational message, And so this was our February box, and it's John 3:16, and it uses a football analogy to just bring inspiration. And we had different items. I'm wearing one of them, you can't see, but we had this cute t-shirt, John 3:16 t-shirt.
Okay.
Some earrings. We had this cute scarf included in there as well. And also this cute off-the-shoulder shirt that says love.
Okay. So is this primarily for the female football lovers, or what's for the guys?
My husband designs things for the guys. I don't have those available, but I'll let him take care of that. But
Okay. All right.
Workout clothes was in the February box, hats and whatever he decides is the theme for that month. I take care of the females.
So is it football all year long, or is it just a sports box all year long? I mean, does it look at different sports as well, or how are you all formatting this?
No, it's the theme for the subscription box is touchdown through faith. That's what we call it. And so we want to build community while encouraging others to keep their faith all year long, so we can all score in this game of life. And so we continue with the football theme, but there are so many different items in each box that are nice and comfortable and that can be used.
So was any of this born out of COVID?
The subscription box was, yes. We really just wanted to, there were what I call multiple pandemics going on at the same time. We were dealing with COVID, racial injustice. People were feeling really isolated and depressed. And so we really just wanted to think of a creative way to inspire others. And so out of that was birthed our Touchdown Through Faith subscription box. Okay.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, how can people order?
On our website, tinytotsandtikes.com. We have many sales going on. So go on the site and shop away.
And can they get the decals as well?
Yep. The decals are on our site, tinytotsandtikes.com. And also, if you want to keep up with what we're doing and what we have new coming out, you can follow us on social media at Tiny Tots and Tikes.
Okay. And what is there a subscription?
I'm sorry, it broke up just a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was curious about subscriptions. What is that's the subscription box, right? You can order a subscription box on the site as well?
Yes. You can just click on the subscription tab.
Right. So what's next? What do you have next, Cynthia? You all are just sitting over there creating, and I like it because it's based off of faith, and the Bible, provides so many, I think, motivating and inspiring opportunities to be creative. So what's next?
We are working on getting in stores nationwide, and so we are excited. We are just really praying and hoping that these opportunities come through. And so, but most of all, we're just very grateful for our customers and supporters and all of those who have really rallied around us and our vision and the message that we are really trying to convey.
Wonderful. Well, I look forward to seeing your daughter doing her commercial or PSA. She sounds like she's the person in charge over there.
Yes, she's running
this
things.
Project. Good. I want to thank you so much for being with us, and we wish you much, much success.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you. So, we love to see young entrepreneurs doing their thing. And I said, this pandemic and other issues, as Cynthia said a few minutes ago, the social justice issues, racial justice and all that have just caused us to be very creative and sensitive to the needs of our community. And so if you have a unique business or an idea about something that you're doing that is helping the community, please reach out to us. And we'd love to have you on Win TV as well. We're also looking for people who I'm going to talk about that again, who are this month doing things to restore the earth, to save the planet. I say Black folks don't do this, but we do. And so we're going to be telling your stories throughout the month. But call us if you know someone who's really just into making sure that our planet is a safe place to live. So we hope to hear from you. And you can email us at news, NEWS, at WashingtonInformer.com. Coming now is Ray Savoy, founder and director of Langston Junior Boys and Girls Golf Club, and Edward Justice, a member of the National Capital Optimist Club. I called you all the dynamic duo, and we're going to find out how you all have been working together. But welcome to Win TV.
Thank you, Denise. It's a pleasure.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the question I was going to ask is, has the golf season started? But I told you, I drove by Langston the other day. It looked like a standing room only. Where's the place where you just, what is it called? I feel so silly. Where you you hit the balls, you just hit them.
Practice area.
Yeah, the practice area.
Yeah, yeah. The driving range.
The driving range. Thank you, Ray. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, there was so many people out there. It was amazing.
Well, they have a lot of people learning to play this game and have fun doing it. That's what it's all about.
Wonderful.
That's what it's about with our young people that we're working with. So,
you have been doing this for many, many years with young people in the DC area. Just getting them out, teaching them about golf and the principles related to golf. Why do you do this, Ray?
Well, I've been brought up in a surrounding and atmosphere where my family taught about giving back. We were brought up with the love. Being one of 8 siblings, we were brought up where we were taught to love and give back. And from that basis, as a young man, or as a boy, you might want to say, to even the desire to help and give back. It was so important. So that has been innate in me, and I've been doing it ever since.
And so, and it's a great thing, because that's where a lot of young people are getting their start and their interest in golf is over there at Langston and under your direction. And Ed, now, bring on the Optimist Club. I would need to be very optimistic if I thought I could really play golf. So, but how do you all work together? What is the Optimist Club?
Well, first of all, the Optimist Club is a civic organization with the focus of helping youth. Optimist organization dates all the way back to 1916. There's thousands of clubs, tens of thousands of members in multiple countries, like 20 countries. Mm. This local club was formed in the 30s, and like I said, our purpose is to serve youth. Our motto is friend of youth. And we try to aid and encourage the development of youth. And we even offer some scholarship programs like a writing contest. We call it our essay contest. We have an unusual program, a communications contest for deaf and hard of hearing, which is very inspirational to watch. Some of those youth are really amazing. Then we also are involved in junior golf. And the Optimist organization has an international championship every year. And for the first time ever this year in Washington, D.C., there will be a qualifier for that. The qualifiers are usually scattered around different places, but now there's one in D.C.
So what does that mean? Both of you, Ray, I'll ask you. So you have young people who will be competing to be in this National Youth Golf Tournament?
Competing in this tournament, which is going to be held April 18th, starting around 8:30, 8:45. And these youngsters that are in the competition will be competing for a chance to, say, leave the DC metropolitan area, go to Florida to compete. As they say, this will be the first time ever in the 16-year history that we are able to get what we call qualifiers to leave, say, from Langston and go to Florida to take part in the international competition down there in Florida. Very important, and it's a very wholesome and worthy program for our young people.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Now, are they mostly what's the age group?
10 to 18.
10 to 18. Okay. And are you all seeing a growing number of young people interested in golf?
Yes, I have. My thing, when I first started my junior golf program, it was a thing more or less where we found that the parent wanted the kids to learn the game as a way of they freeing themselves. Now it's a thing where the kids are telling the parent, I want to go play and learn the game of golf. So it's important that you have that mental aspect approach to this game, because if a kid has a problem with playing the game of golf, they enjoy it more because they want to do it. They want to participate. So very important.
And will the public be? I mean, we're still in the midst of this pandemic. This is in a couple of weeks, which is, I mean, this is something I would want to watch myself. But is it open to the public to come and watch the qualifier event?
It is this year for the first time. As long as they rent a golf cart from the golf course, they'll be allowed on the course. But we have to really, really monitor, their activities, and they have to be spectators. They can't be participants.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They can't help the kids out. They have to maintain the distance.
Remembering the number one thing, social distance and wearing their masks.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What makes golf a good sport for young people to play and to learn?
I'll speak up
Sure.
because, as Ray has taught, some of Ray's programs emphasize the lessons, taking the lessons that you learn on the golf course and applying them to life. Lessons like honesty and integrity and striving for excellence. And that's the real attraction to youth golf for me, is to reemphasize honesty and integrity, because you keep your own score. For example, you call penalties on yourself. What other sport do you call penalties on yourself? That's the real attraction.
Yeah. Not to get too personal, but Ed, how long have you been in the golf game?
Over 25 years.
Okay. All right. And what attracted you to it?
Someone asked me to go out with them one day, and I said, okay. And I'll start from there.
Wow. Wonderful. How about you, Ray?
Well, being Washingtonian, bred and raised, at an early age, I learned to play all sports. And I found that it was very challenging at times. And I thought I had it hard until I grabbed hold of a golf club and tried to hit that white ball. You're talking about something challenging. That is a challenging, but also at the same time, a very rewarding experience of being able to play this game. It has carried me a long ways. After retiring from DC Park and Recreation, I turned to becoming a professional golf instructor, which I have, and achieved the status or level of a master instructor. Doing it for so many years, being blessed and honored, where I was inducted into the Hall of Fame in the United States Golf Teachers Federation. So it's been very rewarding to me. But the accolades are there, but the desire to teach and help these young people, period, is so important in my life and in this game of golf, where we can help them along to foster them to understand that hitting the ball is one thing, but also taking along your education that will help you in life, period.
I don't think that people often know, particularly parents. I mean, we think about the parents who are pushing, or the kids that are playing basketball and football, and but there are lots of golf scholarships out there as well.
Very much so. Yes,
Right.
it is.
Right, opportunities for young people to pay their way through college by just trying to hit that little white ball, which is a challenge.
Yes, it is. It's a mindsetting thing. Some people take at it and they think they can hit the ball. When they get to it, they can't hit it. They can become frustrated. That's because they mentally is not accepting the challenge. So this is what we do when we try to help our youth to understand what they're doing, why they're doing, and part of the lifestyle that Ed had mentioned that is so important.
So before we go, I just want you all to share one more time what's going to happen on April the 18th, and what people who might want to come and just be observers, what they can look forward to seeing on the 18th.
Well, first of all, the top 2 youth in each of our 7 different age, gender groups, as long as they shoot a qualifying score, will earn a slot at the International Championships in Florida. So we have the ability to send at least 14 kids to Florida from the DC area. And this is a life experience. I mean, it's 6 days at a nice resort, and the entry fee includes golf and the room and most of their meals. So it's quite a production.
I mean, it sounds really exciting. Go ahead, Ray.
We also are doing a fundraising project along with this golf tournament, where a person can be a sponsor of a hole. The donations range from $500, $200 to $50. The 200 and 500 are set up where people can have their business put on hold signs to publish their business, but also to support these young people and the efforts that we're trying to do with these young people, so that we can alleviate some of the cost, mostly of the cost that is attached to these kids traveling from one part of the city to another part of the city.
Well, count us in, Ray. Count in the Washington Informer. We certainly do want to be one of those sponsors of the whole. So, make sure that we do what we need to do to do that. Get the information over to us. And I'm hoping that others that are watching the show will consider being a sponsor as well. This is a tremendous opportunity to send 14 kids possibly to Florida. It's great. It's great. So I'm glad that you all were here to share this information with us, and we look forward to covering that too.
One thing, Ed, you want to give her the website that they can go to?
I was ready to butt in. Our website, capitaloptimist.org, and look for junior golf, and they can see how to register for their event. Wonderful. And to contact us.
Okay, we have that at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully folks will get a chance to take a look at that. Capitaloptimist.org. Is there a space between capital and optimist? No space. All one word. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. Well, thank you guys for what you do. Go ahead, Ray. You got one more?
Thank you. No, I just want to say thank you so much, Denise, and the Washington Informer, for allowing us to come on the air and let our message get out to the public and to the people. And also a great kudos to Mrs. Lassiter for a job well done.
A fearless
That's my
producer.
but. Yes,
Alrighty,
indeed.
alrighty. Thank you so much for the time. And, again, we'll see you on the 18th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ray. That's fantastic. Just think, I mean, it's a sport people can go and watch. The kids will be out there. You can see distance during the activity, and help to send 14 kids, hopefully 14, to Miami for the first time ever in the District of Columbia. Can you believe that? So it's the first, but not the last, thanks to the work of both of them, Ed Justice and Ray Savoy. So thank you for being with us. And so now we're going to move on. And actually, before we go, we're going to take we at the Washington Informer celebrate Black History 365 days of the year, 52 weeks of the year. It's not just 1 month, it's all year long. So we're going to stop for our little Black History moment, and we'll be right back.
Here's another edition of WIN TV's Black Facts. Today, April 2nd, is Washington, D.C.'s own Marvin Gaye's birthday. Gaye was born in 1939. On April 3rd, 1964, Malcolm X gave his speech, The Ballot or the Bullet, in Cleveland, Ohio, explaining his departure from the Nation of Islam. April 4th, 1968, historic civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed on the balcony of his hotel room in Memphis, Tennessee. On April 5th, award-winning filmmaker, writer, and social activist Marlon Riggs died in 1994. On April 6, 1846, Dred Scott and his spouse filed a lawsuit that would eventually be known as the Dred Scott case, first brought to trial in 1847. On April 7th, blues singer Billie Holiday was born in Baltimore, Maryland. And on April 8, 1974, Baseball Hall of Famer Hank Aaron broke records, hitting his 715th home run before his retirement. Reporting from the Washington Informer, this is Lindiwe Vilakazi.
Thank you, Linda Way. Always appreciate these Black History highlights for the week. So many. So now I'm really, really excited to bring on Trey Sherrard with the Anacostia River Keepers. Hey, Trey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I hear we're having a little technical problems on my side. I think the screen is freezing, but I think we'll get through this. You have a lot of stuff going on down there at the Anacostia River. Talk to us about the River Keeper Project.
Happily. So thank you for getting me on the show. And I'm really, really happy to kick off some of y'all's environmental stuff now that we are in Earth Month. And in honor of Earth Month, we get really busy. We are talking about cleanups. We are doing trainings for how people can learn how to be volunteers to monitor water quality. We're also going to be doing a little fishing event as part of one of two in-person events at the Anacostia River Festival this year, since that festival is mostly going virtual.
And the festival is on April the 11th, is that correct?
Right. So the virtual festival will be April 11th. And then on April 10th, we'll be fishing in the morning at Anacostia Park at the dock down there by the AREC, the skating pavilion, and the boat ramp. And then later that afternoon, AWS will be out there doing canoes.
I'm at Anacostia Park pretty frequently, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to walk and run and picnic or just hang out with the family. I think it's great. But I often see folks fishing, and I wonder, and I'll stop sometimes and see what they caught. What's in the river?
There's a lot of catfish. Some of those catfish are blue cats, which are actually invasive here. They got brought in from the middle of the country, and they don't belong on the Atlantic, but they do really well here, especially because the river's been degraded and it's gotten really silted up and muddy. So the catfish are what a lot of people are fishing for. Right now, the shad are starting to run. That's America's fish. The American shad and some of the other river herring only come in the spring and in the fall. They do their breeding run. So if you see some really shiny fish moving upstream in the Anacostia or in Rock Creek or in the Potomac, that's probably what they are. Other people are out there fishing for striper, especially different times of the year. And then there's people fishing for little sunfish and panfish.
I think, Ray, a lot of people are sort of have the old idea of what the Anacostia River has been as opposed to what it's becoming. And so the question is, are those fish safe to eat?
So that depends on who you ask. Riverkeeper sticks to saying, please don't eat the fish yet. If you talk to DOEE, especially Director Wells, he's going to tell you that there's a certain amount of fish that anybody can eat safely of certain kinds of fish. And that's scientifically true. The district has a really, really strong document called the District Fish Consumption Advisory. And if people find it and they actually read it and they read all of it and then they follow its directions every time, that's great. And it's really protective of human health. But how many servings of what kind of fish and how big those servings are depend on who the person is. So is it a kid? Is it a woman of childbearing age? Is it a man or somebody else? That there's so many different sets of rules that most people look at it and then they just kind of make up their own rules, and that's no longer safe. So we suggest to please not eat fish out of the river yet, but if you're going to, make sure you consult that District Fish Consumption Advisory. And it's really easy to find. You can find it through DOEE's website. If you Google District Fish Consumption Advisory, it's going to be the first couple things that pop up. And it is a really sound document. But if you're not going to follow it to the letter every single time, then it can't help you out. And that danger is that it's not going to make you sick, like throwing up sick, right? That's not the problem with eating fish from the river. It's the potential for cancer 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And for women of childbearing age and for children who are still developing, and that means, teenagers right up into 20, because we're talking brain development, not when they think they're done developing. That means the risk of learning disability. And that can be lifelong learning and behavioral disability for those children born to mothers who have encountered that toxin at any point, not just during that pregnancy. And so there's some really hardcore health repercussions for contact with some of these toxins. And that's why we're just saying err on the side of safety. We want people to fish. That's actually why we do these fishing events. We want to teach people how to fish because it's a really phenomenal way to learn how to appreciate your river. It's a low hurdle way to come down, especially when we're holding the gear. And all you got to do is come sign up ahead of time and then join us. But we want to make sure that people know fishing is fun. We're getting towards where it's safe to eat the fish. But unless you're going to follow that consumption advisory and count how many ounces of what kind of fish you and your kids have been eating this month, that it's not enough to help you. So we really want to encourage catch and release. Well, people are ready for that.
You've greatly spelled it all out. And if people haven't heard it, you said it enough for them to understand that right now it's not safe to eat the fish. And we had some photographs actually, which we would have loved to have shared, I think, with you all out there. It may have been last year, the year before, actually teaching fishing to a lot of families. I thought that was fantastic. Yep. It's a great family event, and I see families out there all the time. How did you become the Anacostia Riverkeeper?
So Anacostia Riverkeeper is part of an international now group called Waterkeeper Alliance. So Anacostia Riverkeeper as an organization has been on the river. Originally, they were hosted as a program at Earth Conservation Corps. We've been on the river for almost 20 years now. We've been our own organization for a little over 10. I came here from North Carolina. So I grew up on the coast in Wilmington, and I wanted to be a marine biologist because I wanted to know the names of all the things living on the dock and the beach. And I did that. And I decided that I didn't really want to do just pure science, because while science is awesome, it doesn't do a lot of change right now unless people use that science. And I'd been an educator doing a lot of informal environmental education and a little bit of classroom education. And I love the ripple effect of teaching kids good things and watching them go out and do more good things. But it turns out I'm not that patient a soul, and I wanted to see change happening where I could see it happening. And I decided DC was the place to come to get involved in that intersection of people and policy and science and environment, where they all cross over together. And when I came here, I was familiar with the Waterkeeper organizations. I saw that Anacostia Riverkeeper was hiring a part-time position. At that point, I was only the second person to come on staff besides the Riverkeeper himself. And I came on to start our trash cleanup program, which is still a big part of what we do. Our next cleanup is coming up April 17th in Anacostia Park. I've just moved up, adding different roles and different tasks that we do. And I've been the river keeper informally for acting for about a year and a half. And I've formally been the river keeper since last year.
Fantastic. Congratulations. You know, one of the things I just mentioned was about the fish, but in your role and working, you do a lot of work educating the community. I know you're at community meetings and talking to folks, particularly even on the east side of the river. But what is it? What are some of the things that you really wish people knew or had a better understanding of about the Anacostia River?
So first, that it's gorgeous. You know, if you haven't been down to it, hashtag come to the river. We want you down there. You know, there's a whole trail network now that wasn't there 7 years ago. There's access. There's still a lot of access problems. Let me be clear. You know, there's still a train tracks and a highway and a lot of things preventing people from having as free of access to the river as they should, especially people that have actually lived next to the river for as long as they have. But there is better access now than there has been in a long time. And so we just want to see you down there first. That's the point of fishing. That's the point of the free boat tours that are funded by the district with the bag fee money. Another thing that blows a lot of people's minds is that all the life that's there. You know, when you get on the boat tour and we get under the railroad bridge that's right there by the skating rink, people are blown away. You know, the rowers all call that side Narnia. They think of that as the wardrobe and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and they call the other side Narnia. And it is amazing. It no longer feels like an urban river. And when you go a little bit further upstream, once you go under Benning Road Bridge, the Ethel Kennedy Bridge there, and you get into that area between Langston Golf Course, following the last gentleman, and Kenilworth Park, there's 1.5 miles of uninterrupted river where you can just look up river. And aside from the seawall and the boat and whatever trash is coming by right then, there's nothing man-made. You're in the middle of Ward 7 in Northeast DC, and you can look 1.5 miles and see nothing but nature. And I don't think a lot of people realize that asset is there. And I don't think a lot of people realize that asset is theirs and it belongs to them and that they have a right to be using it.
So tell me about these boat rides.
So we just got cleared 2 weeks ago. You may have seen in the mayor's guidance about COVID that one of the things that's coming back are free boat tours of the Anacostia River. The Anacostia River Explorer Tours are funded by the District Department of Energy and Environment. Riverkeeper and AWS share that grant. We both give tours. Right now, I'm the only captain for us that's going to be giving tours while we get our folks vaccinated. Everybody's getting the vaccine. But we are up. I give my first official tour tomorrow afternoon.
Wow.
Weekends have already booked out. So if you were looking for a weekend, until we have more captains that are vaccinated and ready, it's going to be a month or two, probably 2. But if you can come out on a weekday during the week, whether it's during work time or as a weekday evening, you know, we've got light out till 8 o'clock. And frankly, the animals and the wildlife that a lot of people might not know are there, or they know are there and they want to go see it, they're most active at evening. You get the sunset on the water. It's an absolutely gorgeous time to be on the river, whether you've been on it before or whether this is going to be the first time you meet it. And the boat, something people ask a lot is, you know, is it a little boat? Is it a big boat? It is a very big boat for the kind of tours we give. You can only bring up to 10 people right now. The boat fits 20, but while COVID, we're keeping things thinned out, and we have spots in the boat that we can keep groups that aren't quarantined together, mutually 6 feet apart and distance with their masks on. But it's a big boat and it's very stable. You know, the only way you're going to get off that boat is if you jump. I'm going to make sure you don't do that. But people that are concerned about going in the water, that's not a concern on this boat. And we can pick up a couple spots. If people want to use metro access or they're not worried about a car trying to park it, they can meet us down at Yards Marina, right there by Yards Park by Navy Yard. And it's only a 10-minute walk from the Navy Yard Metro. For folks that want to come out and meet us either by foot on the trail or if they want to drive and park, the dock at the Anacostia Park boat ramp, we have installed a floating dock there 2 years ago. So it's no longer the old fixed wooden pier. That was another grant we did with the district 2 years ago to put that floating dock in. And that makes it a lot more accessible to people that have mobility concerns. So now instead of having to wait for the tide to be just right, we have a ramp down to the floating dock, and that keeps it the same level as the boat at all tides. And so it's pretty easy for folks to come in and out.
So the challenge, this is fantastic. And I'm glad you're here to share this with us, particularly at this time of the year. But one of the biggest challenges, you talked about it earlier, you said the trash. And maybe it's getting better, but there are times when it still looks like folks haven't gotten the memo to stop tossing things out of their cars that go into the sewers and then end up in the river, no matter where you are. But what's being done about that?
So it's gotten way less bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not as often and it's not as much, but after a storm, there is still a raft of trash coming up and down the river. So a few years ago, DC Water, they had a christening for their 2 new trash boats, Flotsam and Jetsam. They did a phenomenal job of social media on that. And when those started working, the old trash boats had been out of work most of the time. And when they were, only one would work for a day or two. The new boats have been working, almost every day, and it made a visible difference. Then a few years ago, when the first leg of the DC Water tunnel came online, that's meant to keep sewage out of the river from the combined sewer system in DC, it also keeps the trash that was getting into that middle third of DC from getting into the river. So now we know that most of the trash in the Anacostia River is just like you said. People aren't lining up on bridges and docks and dropping trash into the river directly. And a lot of people don't realize that. All ages, we get out on the river and we talk about this. People don't realize where the trash comes from. And it's every single piece of trash you see on the ground that doesn't get picked up before it rains.
Wow.
Every single one. The next time it rains, it goes into that storm drain. If it's a little rain, it piles up in the storm drain. And then if it's a big rain, everything from the top of the hill to the storm drain gets flushed out into the river all at once. A lot of our streams, especially east of the river, where those streams are not covered up like they are west of the river, a lot of our streams that run through the parks, Pope Branch, Nash Run, those streams are simultaneously storm sewers because all of those storm drains you see over there, they go right into those streams. And it's not like there's something catching trash, keeping it out.
Wow. Well, we have to do a better job of getting the message out about how we keep our community clean and particularly keep our river clean. And I think more people get a chance to get out there with you all and take that ride, the more they'll understand why it's important to keep the river clean. So I want to thank you, Trey, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Before we go, I want you to talk about cleaning. I want you to just give a little bit more information about the cleanup that you're going to do, that you have planned, the Anacostia cleanup.
Yeah, so our next cleanup
and how people can volunteer.
Our next cleanup is going to be April 17th, 9 a.m. to noon at the intersection of Good Hope Road and Anacostia Drive. So right there, just south of the 11th Street bridges. That's where we'll meet. And then we're going to send people up Park and down Park. And we want to cover as much of Anacostia Park as possible. So if you all want to sign up for that, you can go via our website, which was on the screen, and it's anacostiariverkeeper.org. You can also go through Eventbrite, and if you just search Anacostia Riverkeeper, that'll pop up as one of our events.
Wonderful. And that new Frederick Douglass Bridge with those arches in the evening when the sun is setting is a really beautiful view over the river. So a lot coming over to Anacostia River.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you all out on the boat. And there's some other things. If you can't join us for the cleanup, feel free to take pictures of trash when you see it on the river and to post that and to let the district know, the mayor's office, everybody. Tag them, especially when you're seeing things like our plastic bottles. The mayor has said that she needs to hear from constituents, not just from organizations, that those bottles and other pieces of trash that are plastic are a problem for you in your everyday lives. And the more she hears about it, the more we get the political cover we need to get grants and to push and knock on doors. So there's a lot of ways y'all can help. If you can't join the cleanup, it can be as simple as posting a picture.
Wonderful. Will do. All right. Thank you so much, Trey. All right. Have a good one. Wow. So yeah, y'all know I did my own video, but I'll be taking pictures too. So, because that's one of my favorite places of the city, Anacostia Park and the Anacostia, walking along the Anacostia River. So glad that they were there to join us. We're gonna close out now with Dr. V. Is Dr. V with us?
Hi,
hey, Dr. V,
how
are you?
Good.
So, do we have any new news about this COVID vaccine?
Yeah, well, let me tell you what I wanted to. Well, we do have new news about the COVID vaccine.
Okay.
The Pfizer trial for children found that it was 100% effective between 12-year-olds to 15-year-olds.
Okay.
So I suspect soon that Pfizer will apply for emergency use authorization to give the vaccine down to children as young as 12 years old. But I think, with Easter coming up, a lot of people are wondering, what should we do? We're going to go out for Easter dinner or meet with the family, and some of us are vaccinated and some of us are not vaccinated. And people have been asking me a lot about what to do about that. And so I wanted to really tell people it's really important when you're vaccinated, you can still transmit the virus. So if you have a group, like for instance, for Easter, I'm going and I'm putting together, I have a small group of family and friends. It's about 6 of us. We've all been vaccinated. So we can have Easter dinner the way we normally would. But if there's someone who is in your midst, adult or children, that is not vaccinated, then you need to actually wear your mask, socially distance. And also if you're inside, especially inside of a home, open up a window. Ventilation makes a really big difference. So you can also open up a window. But yeah, that's what a lot of people have been asking, because not all their family members have had an opportunity yet to get vaccinated.
Yeah, interesting. So that's a good tip for Easter, because folks are planning right now that Easter dinner with
That's
family
right.
and friends. Yeah.
Open up the window. Open up the window.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be a beautiful day, so that will help as well.
Eat outside.
Yeah. So we talked last week about this month and dealing with, I think it was lung disease. I want to ask a little bit about, because I've heard people we're trying to distinguish between whether they have a cold, an allergy, or actually COVID. And so, how do people really know the difference without having to really go and see their doctor? Or maybe that's what they ought to do. I don't know. But what do you recommend?
You really, a lot of people have said to me, well, it's just like my allergy symptoms. Well, or it's just like my asthma, but that's actually what COVID does. And so, you really don't know unless you get COVID tested. So I tell people, you don't always have a fever. You may or may not have loss of taste of smell. Only about 60% of the people have loss of taste of smell. 40% of them don't. 35% of the people don't have a fever. So there's really not one thing you can, really hang your hat on. So I tell people, especially if it lasts more than 2 or 3 days, get tested. Really make sure and get tested. We need to do way more testing than we're doing right now.
Wow.
We need to do testing of asymptomatic people so we can be clear, what's happening. They just did a test of vaccinated people, and they're going through the data on that so they can actually understand how much are vaccinated people still able to spread the virus. So I tell people, don't hesitate, just go ahead and get tested.
Do you have any sort of general recommendations, though, for people who are suffering from allergies this season? Certain things that they, may need to do. I mean, I know the neti pot thing is one thing folks talk about, but any recommendations?
Well, so let me tell you something that really helps a lot with allergies. And what it does is it kind of desensitizes you a bit to whatever the local pollen is to actually purchase and use locally grown honey. When the bees pollinate, part of what's actually in the pollen and in the air is in the honey. So I always recommend that people get locally grown honey and then use that as a sweetener in their coffee or tea or whatever may happen to be. It actually begins to provide you some protection against the pollen that we see in the springtime. And so that's what I always recommend that people do. And it really helps, but you have to get honey from your local area. You can't get locally grown honey that was, from Memphis or from California. It has to be locally grown here.
Doesn't make sense. Sherry said, like, the local bees produce the local honey, and the local honey produces the local protection against it. Because so many people come to Washington and they say, oh my goodness, well, on the allergy side, they didn't have allergies, but they come here and they develop allergies. And so that makes a whole lot of sense.
And that happened to me too. I never had allergies. And then I moved to DC and I was like, oh my gosh, And after I had lived here for about, 8 or 10 years, I developed a sensitivity to everything, and I don't have allergies anymore, but I did use a local honey.
Wonderful. Yeah. Any other tips for us, Dr. V, before we go?
I just want people to stay safe over Easter. We are almost through this pandemic, but not quite. So, I tell people, gather with family and friends safely.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.
You're welcome. All right.
All righty. Okie doke. All right, that's it for this edition of Win TV. Thank you so very much for being with us. Hey, have a happy Thanksgiving, happy Easter. Certainly have a safe weekend. It should be a beautiful weekend. And remember what Dr. V said, open the window, open the window. We'll see you next week, next Friday, same place, same time. Next, WI Bridge.
Hey, we back at it again with the Back at It Again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What's Going On DC. I'm your boy, the Media Prince. First up, DC summer job programs will pay teens to take classes as the district tries to fix the learning loss here. I don't know about you, but you pay me right now as an adult, and I'll damn sure take a class. DMV's own Wale is the latest artist to join their new NFT wave. First we saw Rico Nasty, now it's Wale. Take a look.
The diamond's one of the features.
In sad news, we must say goodbye to the beloved staple of the DMV, Forever Crystal Skating Ring. To us all, that's all we know it as. Well, this weekend will be the last weekend it will be in business ever. Read along and find out. And did you just see that news? Washington Wizards star Russell Westbrook shows us he means business. Take a look. While we're on sports, let's congratulate DC's own serial entrepreneur, Justin Drummond, who is also a D1 athlete, on his partnership with Dove's Men Care initiative. Take a look. This is epic.
Shout out to Dove Men Care, man, for the amazing feature on the off-court chants and for this package. There's your boy right there, and it got me something, man. Something that is very valuable that I'm gonna hold on to for a long time. Wow. This thing, nice.
Can you believe it's been 20 years since the Lady Mama Live remix with DMV's own Maya? Well, she just shared a memory that's got me thinking, where has the time gone? Take a look. This week marked history as 45 years ago, in 1976, our beloved WMATA, yes, W-M-A-T-A, Metro Rail began operating. History. The DC Mayor's Office donates $10,000 to Chef Jevin campaigns to stop Asian American hate. Speaking of chefs, the ones at Roaming Rooster are staying busy as a new location is on the way. Take a quick look.
Today we have some updates on businesses that have signed leases at Skyland. Let me start with a DC favorite. The Roaming Rooster will open their 4th DC location at Skyland.
Rest in peace to our Southeast Queen Taraji P. Henson's dog, K-Ball. Moment of silence. In social media news, let's have a quick laugh with the Tell Me You're From DC without telling me you're from DC memes.
Tell me you're from DC without telling me you're from DC.
I mentioned Models Envy last week, but here's what we forgot to show you. there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm off to see the cherry blossoms. For all that and more, head over to wibridgedc.com. And remember to follow the hashtags WGODC and WIBridgeTMP style and stay updated on all my looks every week. Now I'm out. Let's show them what they're missing if they don't go see the cherry blossoms. Until next week.
Calling up my phone, I need space. But we both know at the end of the day, you're still calling me, babe. We already know this, all this love mess is bogus. If you wanna go golden, I'll be good in my own. And never needed you as a man, never needed you as my friend. Never letting myself get attached like this again. 1, 2, 3, everybody's chasing after me. 4, 5, 6, he's throwing a fit. 7, 8, I'm bored. 9 and 10, I'm done with. I'm done with him. 1, 2, 3. Everybody's chasing after me. 4, 5, 6. He's throwing a fit. 7, 8. I'm bored. 9 and 10. I'm done with him. Ramsey Renee is a multifaceted artist. She is a singer, songwriter, musician, producer. She loves her work and she's very serious about her craft and her business and her music. And she loves the people who listen to her music and she loves her music. And she's always striving to become more. My creative process is pretty it's just triggered by little things. Like if I hear a noise or somebody says something, I'm like, can you repeat that? And I'll put it in a song. I also have a million memos in my phone, at least 600. I don't know how many albums that is, but it's a lot. So it's basically just anything. Anything I hear, anything I see, I'm like, ooh, I need to go write this or I should jot this down. I would say what inspires me to create is my own emotional well-being, my feelings. I write whenever I can't explain what's going through my mind or how I'm feeling. So it's always like that voice in the back of my head that's like, you need to go write a song about this if you can't talk about it, or if nobody's understanding it, you know, your piano will. So I would say that is what inspires me to create. You can find me on all social medias at Ramsey Sings, RAMSEYSINGS, and you can go listen to my music under Ramsey Renee, RAMSEYRENEE.